Are you a self-storage owner or operator looking for service providers to help at your facility? Well, the Storage Business Owners Alliance, also known as the SBOA, has you covered. The SBOA is the premier online hub for connecting self-storage owners and operators to industry-leading products and service providers. We provide one-stop shopping for your business with exclusive offers to save time and money. At the SBOA, we believe by coming together, we help owners and operators grow revenue, gain purchasing power, reduce expenses, improve efficiencies, and increase profitability. We also offer many resources such as our conferences and Self-Storage Unlocked webinars to help self-storage owners and operators gain the knowledge needed to become more competitive in the industry. To become an SBOA member or to find out more information, please visit www.thesboa.com today. We can't wait for you to join the Alliance.
Good morning, everyone in self-storage land. Welcome to Self-Storage Unlocked, and thank you for joining us today for another episode. Our topic today is how to optimize workflow in your self-storage business. Our regular host, Jessica Johnson, is at the Northeast Self-Storage Expo today. So if you are going to the expo, you can meet her at SBOA booth number 30. And I am taking her place. My name is Iris Segan. I am the marketing manager for the Storage Business Owners Alliance, better known as the SBOA. Before we bring on our panelists today, I do want to go over a few quick housekeeping items to share with you. If you do have questions for the speakers today, please ask those questions in our chat area. And I do welcome you to pop into the chat, let us know who you are, where you're from, say hello. We want to get to know you. This is your time to interact with our experts live, so don't be shy. We'll also be posting poll questions in the chat throughout the program today. Please answer the poll questions. It does help us get to know you better and get to understand your needs and interests. So to get started today, I'm going to bring up our moderator, Christian Thurgood. Hi, Christian. How are you?
Good. How are you, Iris?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us today. Please tell us a little bit about who you are and how long you've been in the storage industry, a little bit about your experience.
Okay, yeah. So I've been in the storage industry for over 9 years now. I was originally with the company Easy Storage Solutions. I was a partner there, and now I am one of the owners and partners of Zion Call Management. We help storage operators operate their facilities a little bit more efficiently by helping to answer phone calls, chats, emails, and kind of just some of the day-to-day operations to help them be able to focus on growing their business.
Great. Well, I'm going to go off screen and I'm going to let you introduce the rest of the panelists today as you are our moderator. Who are you going to bring up first?
So first we will have James Thurgood, one of my partners and also my brother. And I'll go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Yeah, hey everybody. I'm James. I have been in the industry not quite as long as Christian. I joined him a few years after he started the original call answering service, kind of helped him grow it to what it is today. So I kind of deal with the in the weeds of the day-to-day operations for Zion Call Management. So it's fun I get to work with a lot of you operators and owners, and I love that part of my job. So I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Next, we have Ty Meinhardt. Let
Hey,
Ty
Christian.
introduce himself.
Yep, my name's Ty Meinhardt. I've been in the self-storage industry for a little over 8 years. I also joined Easy Storage and was a partner there, and we started an accounting and tax service, which is what I focused on. So we've been doing bookkeeping, accounting, and tax work specifically for the self-storage industry for a little over 8 years.
And now you are an owner of your own tax and accounting service, correct?
Correct. Yep, storage unit accounting.
Awesome. And then we also have Jonathan Way, who has been a client of ours and Ty's. We'll go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Jonathan Way. I'm in the industry for 4 years in storage. I have an accounting and tax background, CPA, for many years. I was a tax director in my former life, and I'm a client of the Zion Call Center, 4 years now, and also with Ty. I think since the beginning, when he started his own storage unit accounting operations.
Awesome. Thank you. We will go ahead and get started by asking a poll question, Iris, if you wouldn't mind posting this first poll question. Do you currently take your own storage calls while also owning another business or working another job? I'll go ahead and have James kind of talk to this while we wait and see how this question gets answered. But James, in your experience in the industry, why do you think it's important, I guess, to figure out or understand how to operate your business and answer phone calls while you're also trying to work other jobs? Because we know that in this industry, a lot of the times, a lot of the operators also own other businesses or also maybe have another job, but they're trying to figure out how to answer their own phone calls as well. And it can get really kind of busy and overwhelming. So as we ask this question and kind of wait for the responses, why do you think this is important to think about when deciding if you're going to build or own a storage facility?
Yeah, absolutely. It is super important, and it's interesting over the last, I don't know, 8 or 9 years, especially as technology has infused itself more into the storage industry where you can do so many things online. It's just not as necessary to have someone sitting on site all the time, waiting for people to come in or call. And so it has allowed owners and operators to have other jobs or have this as a side thing or just passive income. And so, that is part of the reason that why obviously Christian started the call answering service. But the other thing is a lot of the times when someone calls a storage facility, we need to use a computer to help answer their question. And so whether you have another job or not as an owner operator, you may not always be in front of a computer. So you may not be able to help the caller if you're working on site or if you're doing something else, unless you're actually going to sit in front of a computer all day. So that's kind of where we come in, where it's super easy for us to handle the calls or an answering service to handle the calls because we do have access to all the technology information, the units, the inventory, all of that. And that just allows us to handle the bulk of the day-to-day operations, and then let the owner focus on everything else.
Awesome. Kind of segue from there, Jonathan, question for you. As you mentioned, you've used a call answering service since you've gotten into self-storage. I know that you have been able to grow a portfolio. How have you, excuse me, how have you been able to utilize a call answering service to help you grow that portfolio?
Yeah, that's a great question. Me, and my wife and my team decided we gotta use a call answering service because we needed a lot of hours of coverage per day. And you guys give like us 14 hours a day, which is a lot of hour coverage, which is great. And because we didn't want to be by the phone if we were on vacation or if we have other plans to expand our business. So my company Greystone was gonna grow to like 2,000 units in several like 1 or 2 years, which we achieved that. And our strategic goal was to have a good strategic partner who can help us grow and be trustworthy and reliable. And we found that Zion was the most reliable, most trustful, partner in the call center space. So that's why we grew our portfolio with you guys. And then Ty helped me with the bookkeeping and the taxes for the storage side, which I was very happy with. And that's how they were able to grow, because I focused more on strategically how to acquire, how to raise equity, how to build a great team, and how to grow my firm. And I do my main, just to tell you, is multifamily and self-storage. That's my main 2 verticals. And I was growing my self-storage vertical at the time since I started in 2020 in the pandemic era time. So.
Great, thank you. And so that for kind of staying with the same topic, going to Ty, I know that you do storage or accounting for a lot of storage facilities. And as you do that accounting and kind of see their help them with their books and help them figure out their profitability, what are your thoughts when it comes to utilizing a management service or a call answering service, and how can that help an operator save money compared to maybe hiring a bunch of employees?
Yeah, we've seen, it's been interesting as we've looked over the books for several different storage facilities, kind of the ones that are most profitable and able to scale the most and start to acquire new facilities and grow their portfolio are the ones that do hire on call centers and have us help do the bookkeeping. We've seen people go from 1 storage facility to close to 20 and kind of helped them along that road. But one of the things we've seen, people come on with their books and where they're missing, thousands of dollars in expenses, whether they've paid for something out of their personal account and just forgot about it, or there was something in the closing costs that they forgot about, or talking through tax strategy that we've been able to help them with.
Great. So, James, this question's for you. What's your perspective? And I know that you probably have some data to back this up, but what's your perspective on how many phone calls a typical storage facility might receive, and how does that differ from maybe what if you're just getting into the industry, how does that differ from what you think a typical storage facility might receive with regards to phone calls?
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, we do have tons of data on this, tons of experience. And it's actually changed over the last 5 years a little bit, probably just with more technology. But the answer really is about half a call per unit, or 1 call for every 2 units that you have per month. And it's interesting as I talk with people just getting into the industry, or people who have just started, and honestly, even people who have had facilities for a while, they just think that they get a lot less phone calls than that. It just seems like, why are people calling? What do they need? And especially, why are people calling if my facility's full? What do they need? And I won't give away an answer to I think one of the other questions that we have, but We just get so many calls from current tenants that it really equates to about a call for every 2 units that you have per month.
So you're saying that if you have 400 units, that you typically, now this is like an established facility, right? Not like brand new open, but it's typical
Right.
established facility. If you have 400 units, you would get should plan on around 200 calls a month on average.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And obviously on average, right? So there are going to be some areas where you get more than that, some less, but across industry wide on average, yeah, exactly right.
Okay, so Iris, we could probably post this next poll question. Yeah, poll question number 2: how many calls does your facility miss every month? So this question will go to Jonathan. As an operator of storage facilities, Jonathan, did you ever try to take the phone calls yourself? And if so, did you ever feel like you were missing calls?
No, not missing calls, because normally one of your reps will answer the phone calls. So no, I don't think we miss calls. The only time is Sunday when you close, 1 or 2 calls, and we take it ourselves, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from the time that you started in the storage industry, did you always utilize a call answering service, or did you ever try and take all of the calls like to your own personal cell phone?
No, we decided the remote management way was the way to go, and that was basically have easy storage software, which is for the smaller businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you had a call center called Easy Storage Call Center, and we just used that. And that worked well for my smaller facilities because it wasn't large. You have a larger facility, you can still use a call center, but I recommend you have someone sitting in the office too. That's my recommendation. So
maybe utilize, if you have a large facility that has a little bit more traffic, maybe utilize a call center as like a backup solution.
Yes, and you can like the way we do it in our large facilities, we have a hybrid system where we have a person from 9 to 2, and we have your call center answering all the data, call in answering. But he does he can process the move-ins, he can clean the units, he can do everything as a facility manager, and still process the move-ins. It's not a problem. But on top of it, they have a call center, so it doesn't bog him down. He can on weekends go spend time with his wife.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to James, on that same note, as far as missing phone calls, James, can you tell us? I know this was one of the questions, but we'll just kind of give the answer right now. Can you tell us about if a storage facility is taking their own phone calls, okay? About how many calls on average does a storage facility miss?
Yeah, so what we've seen in talking to operators and also just in doing industry research is about 3 out of every 10 calls is missed to a storage facility. So and that's a lot, that's a high percentage of missed phone calls. So I think that's higher than most people would think.
Yeah, so about 30% of calls go missed, and if you're trying to lease up your units, that can be a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So to go along with that, if 3 out of 10 calls are missed, what percentage of those tenants that are prospective tenants potentially that didn't get someone to answer their phone call, what percentage of them would actually leave a message and wait for a call back?
Yeah, so only 20% of those callers will actually leave a message. So, and even if they are leaving a message, I think that they're probably also just calling the next guy down the street while they're waiting for a call back. So, that really limits the number of people that you can rent to if you're missing 30%, and then only a small portion of those folks are actually leaving a voicemail. So, yeah.
Interesting. So Ty, coming over to you, looking at it kind of from the back end side of things, as you talk to these operators and helping them kind of maximize their efficiency. Do you see very many or talk to very many individuals that owns the storage facility, but then also own another business like Jonathan? Is that something typical that you see on your end?
Oh, quite a few, yeah. Yep, we have a mix for sure, but yeah, quite a few. And
Do you
just
see?
talking through. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just talking through the different, I guess, tax strategies associated with that too. If you own multiple businesses, does it make sense to do a cost segregation in the storage facility? Will that offset income in my other businesses? And a lot of times, it's different for every person.
So, as you're talking to these operators that own other businesses and have those types of questions that they need to figure out, do you find that by them having the ability to offload some of the day-to-day operations, it kind of gives them more time and more ability to focus on the things that make them money?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Just kind of talking about missing calls. You have an owner that owns multiple businesses or has another job, talking about on the call center side where they're missing calls. Most of the time they're putting off the bookkeeping. And again, are missing expenses, forget about stuff. So yeah, definitely having us help with the bookkeeping, having someone help with the bookkeeping, someone you can talk through different accounting situations that come up, having someone answer the calls to help manage the facility effectively has definitely helped them, I guess, manage and utilize everything to the best of their ability to help maximize the profitability of the storage facility, but also help them grow and scale it as well.
Perfect. So kind of going along with that scalability, James, we'll go back to you. As an operator is maybe just getting into the industry, or maybe trying to grow their portfolio like Jonathan Way has done, what are some other features that a call center might provide that can allow them to have more options to interact with tenants?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that is starting to get really popular is a chat feature where your customers can go to the website and maybe they just have a quick question and they don't want to call, they don't want to drive down to the property, so they can just shoot a chat over to the operators and ask a quick question. And what we've found is oftentimes that quick question can turn into a rental, actually. But it just kind of makes it easier to connect with the storage facility. And that has been gotten really popular recently is the chat feature.
Now, when you say chat, do you mean like a automated chat where they're just talking to a computer, or they're talking to like an actual person?
Yeah, good question. I think that there's probably both out there. What we have found is best in our industry and for us is to actually talk to a live person. Just because the questions, especially in storage, for whatever reason, they're not always black and white. So it really helps to talk to a live person. So yeah, chat in, talk to the same agents that would be answering the phone calls, but they can just reply, via the chat. And it's really simple I think a lot of people do it right on their cell phones. The customers do it on their cell phone. So it works that way. If you're out and about, have a question, and you can chat with a live agent just right on your phone or computer.
Cool. So if a tenant is chatting in to like a call answering service, the call answering service should be able to tell which facility they're chatting in for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So just like the phone calls work, the chat comes in and it says, "Hey, I'm James, and they're chatting in from Jonathan Way's facility. They're chatting in from 123 storage, whatever it is." And so yeah, we able to help them with the specifics of that facility.
That's great. So kind of staying along the lines with talking about features, Jonathan, this question's for you. I know that you've been in the industry for a while now and have grown a portfolio of storage, and have utilized different services. And as you've kind of utilized different services in the industry to help you run your facilities, what are some of the key points that you've looked for, and that have why have you made the decisions that you've made to kind of stick with certain companies to help you operate?
Right. So that's a great question. When I first started, I didn't know who was a good player in the industry could be our city partner. And just like anyone, you have to do a trial and error. You try it, you ask referrals, and then you just got to test them and see what works. It's similar to like Google Ads and marketing. You got to see what works and which one's the best thing. It's very hard to get after you figure it out. And I tried several other call centers, and I wasn't happy with the performance. I tried different management companies to see if that works, and that didn't really work. So I figured out, for me, the best way is to self-manage the remote management. We control it. My wife is the asset manager, which that means that she oversees the call center and the boots on the ground, so that we know exactly what's going on, and then we can make decisions right there and then really fast. Because otherwise, if you give it to a third-party manager, what happens similar to multifamily is that they lose sight of your storage, and what happens is over time it deteriorates, the value goes down, and then you suffer through occupancy and negative Google reviews. And once you see that, you have to start taking action to turn it around. So like if anyone's been in long enough in the industry, you see that either in storage or in multifamily. Any business you operate, you're going to see that. And so we realized that the best thing, and my mentor told me that you have to self-manage. So as we definitely, we agree with that. And we did a remote management, and it's been working out pretty well. So.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. So coming back to you, James, along those lines of remote manager, just like trying out different companies to kind of see which one works and which one fits for each individual business. Can you tell us kind of how it works with a call answering service when it comes to integrations with different management softwares? I know that the management software piece is such a big fundamental piece of a storage operator operating their business, and there's a lot to choose from. So once they've chosen their management software, how does that interact or work with the call answering service?
Yeah, so how we've done it on our side is we've developed a proprietary software that we use in-house, that our agents use, that integrates with the different softwares out there. So that way we can help you in your facility, really no matter which software management software you've decided to use. But the cool thing about that too is, so like I kind of mentioned with the chat feature, as a phone call comes in, we can see, yes, it's for infinity space storage, right? And so we can answer specific to that name, and then pops up a note page that we create with the operator, so that we can have all the specifics. But on top of that, the integration with the software, it talks back and forth to whatever management software the facility has chosen. We can see units, pricing, we can see gate codes, we can send lease agreements. We can do really almost everything that you would need to do without having to log in directly to your management software. And that actually provides security for the operator, because you're not going to have agents logging directly into your software, seeing all your financials, seeing all your reports that really aren't designed for those taking the phone calls. You know, we've created it so that the agents can only see what they need to see. There's a lot that they can do and they can see, but it also protects the owner so that they don't just have access to everything.
So in addition to those features, what about the ability to make a payment over the phone? What kind of features are out there that allow that to happen if it's not with an individual?
Yeah. So like you said, obviously with an individual over the phone, you can do that. Customers can make a payment on the website, but we found that a lot of tenants like to call in. They like to make the payment. They like the act of making the payment each month. I think maybe so that they know and they're confident that the payment was made, but maybe they don't need or want to talk to a person. And so there are automated payment systems. We use one. We've created one where you can call in, make a payment right over the phone. If you have a card saved on file, it'll say, you know, would you like to use your card ending in 1234? Press 1 for yes. Or you can also type in a new credit card number, or you know, whatever card you want to use at that time. But it's a really cool automated system where they can call in on the phone, make a payment, but they don't have to talk to someone if they don't want. Now, if they get in there and they decide, oh, I'm confused, or I changed my mind, I don't want to use this card, whatever it is, they can always obviously press a button to be routed to a live agent.
Cool. So it sounds like there's a lot of different features out there that give tenants the options to interact with the storage facility, not just one.
Yeah. And honestly, you know, what our goal is to give as many options, like you said. And so, you know, the customer can choose how automated or not automated they want their experience to be.
That's great. Jonathan, another question for you, and then Ty, I promise we'll get to you with some specific accounting questions as well. But going along, we actually have a question from the audience for you, Jonathan, and it is, what lessons have you learned while scaling your storage business, and what advice would you give to any operators that are looking to expand and grow their business?
Right, it's a great question. I learned a lot when I first started. Obviously, as anyone starting new in a business, I came from multifamily world. I also learned a lot from that vertical. And basically, my biggest advice is partner with someone who's more experienced than you, so you minimize your mistakes, which I've done in multifamily. And I kind of done it in self-storage, but he wasn't as strong as my multifamily mentor. Be careful of feasibility studies, because what happens is you don't know who is gonna build in the future. So, and also expansion, be very careful. I think I made a mistake in one of my expansion where I built a canopy for my RV. At that time during COVID, it was really going gangbusters, really high demand. But after COVID-19, it's like it went down. So I had, like, you know, a lot of empty spots in my expanded canopy. And you do another study when you go do. So let's say you wait like 6 months, 8 months. You should do another study then to make sure that you need the canopy, because otherwise you're gonna waste a lot of capital expenditures that you really don't need, and it probably wasn't the right. At the time, it shifted, and that's right now. Right now, it's a little more challenging, as everyone knows, in the industry that it's more competitive. There's a lot of saturation in the marketplace, and a lot of new builds. So you have to be very careful in self-storage, because the rates got lower because we're very competitive. And it's a fierce competition now, especially if you're in a REIT-controlled area with extra storage space and consolidation, public storage. So it's very difficult for owners these days to make the same level of profitability as we did like maybe 2 years ago, when we had a lot of free money going out there and people didn't really care. But now they're pinching the pennies because, you know, they have inflation and everything else. So now it's much harder for us to make the same revenues as before.
That's really good insight. You know, that it's super valuable, I think, for our audience to hear from somebody like you that has done it and has seen, the ups and downs in the market. We know that storage is a great industry altogether, but there definitely are challenges, right? And it seems that nowadays, more and more, the profitability comes down to being able to control your costs and get creative with different things, which kind of leads us into our next topic. Iris, if we could throw the poll question number 3 out there. It is, do you outsource your facilities accounting? So this next question is for Ty. What is, as you're working with clients, where do you find their biggest pain point to be when it comes to managing the facilities accounting? What are the different options and what are some of the pain points you see?
Again, it's probably the bookkeeping. A lot of people, especially with lots of different things going on in their life and trying to figure out how to manage the storage facility, the bookkeeping just falls behind, and there's maybe not enough money in the business accounts. They pay for something personally and then forget it, and forget a major tax deduction that they can take. They're disorganized. And I guess on the other side, that's, a single facility owner, maybe a sole member. You have someone that's trying to grow and scale. Utilizing a bookkeeping service, you can get monthly financials, so you know where you stand on a monthly basis, send those financials out to investors, and kind of gain some credit with your investors, so you can continue to use those investors in future deals as well.
So in addition to the bookkeeping, if someone were to outsource their accounting, would that also include like tax preparation, payroll potentially, or those things that you help facility owners with?
Yes. So yeah, we take care of the bookkeeping, the monthly accounting. We reconcile accounts every month, send out financials. We take care of the end of the year taxes, end of the year 1099s. We can help with payroll if there is payroll, kind of taking care of everything on the accounting side. Obviously, there are a bunch of different services out there that only take care of bits and pieces of those things. We try and take care of everything.
So it sounds like, if for an operator, someone that's especially trying to either get into the industry or scale, by, outsourcing some of these responsibilities such as accounting, and then taking, phone calls and daily management of the facility, outsourcing can actually save money, and a lot of time, as opposed to maybe trying to do it all in-house. Would you agree with that, Ty?
Oh, absolutely.
Hi, guys. We did get a question from the audience. Cedric asked, when starting out, what size facilities did you all start out with?
Jonathan, why don't we send that question to you? I think you'd be perfect to answer that.
Sure. I started with a small one, 130 units. It was an RV and boat storage. I live in Texas. I was in Texas. And I think a small one's easy for you to get the foothold, get understanding. I use Easy Storage Solutions, which I think Christian was part of the partner there, and Ty and James, I believe. So you guys should use, that's a good software I used, and I used the call center.
So
Jonathan, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Iris. Go ahead.
Started out, did you buy a new facility, or did you build? Were you buying an existing facility? How did that happen?
I recommend you buy an existing one that is already cash flowing since day one, because when you build now, it's more challenging because the dynamics are changing, and you don't know how long realistically you can actually lease it up. It could take 2-3 years to lease it up.
Right.
So you just don't know. So.
I guess the real hard part is that sweet spot of finding one that's going to be profitable and is actually for sale.
Yeah, so that's the challenge these days. It's very difficult to find deals, so like in the multifamily world. Seller finance is very common these days to make a penciled in or loan assumption in multifamily. But basically, you need seller financing or something that makes it attractive and lower rates. If you go to the bank on credit union, it's going to be very high rates. So you probably will not pencil in.
Yeah, we hear that quite a bit, especially right now.
Right.
Christian, did you have more questions?
So I like that question from the audience, and kind of wanted to expound on that, and wanted to kind of throw that over to James and see, like, from your experience in the industry over the last decade, James, like, what size facility typically have you serviced, and kind of where have you focused? Because there's facilities of all sizes, right? There's really big facilities, there's really small ones, and kind of where have you focused in the industry?
Yeah, good question. So I'll start by saying that I've serviced all sizes from 30 units to 30 locations, basically, So I've had experience with all of them. And what our sweet spot has tended to be, where it falls, is somewhere between, I don't know, 150 to 250 units. So that's kind of like what Jonathan just mentioned. I think he started with 130 units or something like that. That is really a good spot for someone to start out with. It works really well for outsourcing. You can, and Jonathan mentioned this a little bit earlier, but he's able, and his wife is able to keep their eye on the facility, make sure that they're up to date with everything that's going on. They can be as involved as they want to be, but it still has, good cash flow at that size. And so, 150, 250 units, that seems to be a really good sweet spot.
So swinging this over to Ty, actually, if I were brand new to the storage industry and wanted to build a facility, maybe this is the first time I would have owned a business even, right? What type of entity would you recommend that I set up if I was just starting out, Ty?
It's a great question. It's one that we get a lot. And we recommend just an LLC. So not a C corporation, not an S corporation. You'll want to hold that asset in just a regular LLC. And to kind of speak to that point as well, if you are a new investor, this is your first storage facility you're getting into, I agree with James and Jonathan, 150 to 250 units is probably the best place to start, especially with an existing facility. We've seen some storage facility owners jump into it and build a facility, and it does. Sometimes depending on the market, takes 2 to 3 years to lease up and even to get to a break-even point, cash flow wise. So it is nice, and it is sometimes easier to jump into an existing facility that has a little bit of cash flow coming in, that you can kind of get your feet wet with.
Perfect. Thank you. One other accounting question actually that we have, and this is kind of a hot topic. I've seen it a lot at the trade shows and stuff that happen. Is should I do a cost segregation? So Ty, could you maybe tell us what a cost segregation is, and is it something that our audience should consider?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess whether or not you should consider it probably depends on your situation. So a cost segregation, typically when you buy the storage facility, you go buy a storage facility, that storage facility is depreciated over 39 years. So doing a cost segregation, you'll have a company come in and segregate out or separate out the different assets in the storage facility. So for example, though, if you have a gate or security cameras or sidewalks, different cement, different assets, they'll split those out into 5 to 15-year assets, and you can take more depreciation expense in year one. So, and you can get into bonus depreciation, or accelerated depreciation and take a lot of depreciation in year one, or you can kind of spread it out over, again, 5 years, 15 years. But anyway, a cost segregation helps you segregate out different assets on the storage facility so you can take a little bit more depreciation up front. And
So
again, it probably depends on whether or not it's worth it to do a cost segregation, kind of based on your specific situation, on whether or not you can use the loss and use the depreciation, or if it's better to push it on into future years.
And I can add to that because I'm a tax person too. Then for 20-something years with a master's in taxation, I would say I've done it for every single asset. The reason why I'm an advocate for that is because even though there's past activity loss rules in the 469, 465 code section, it can be deferred until you sell it. If you're let's say a doctor or a lawyer, and you're not a real estate professional, you get to accumulate the losses. But when you sell or a capital event happens, then you can utilize those losses against your sale gain. Now, if you're an active professional like myself, I can use it in year one because I meet the real estate professional rules under the IRS. So for me, it's advantageous to have the cost segregation done so I can utilize the losses, so I pay lower taxes in that year. So I do recommend it, so you can pass along to everyone, and you don't know each one's situations, but you have their own tax advisor, and they can figure out the situation. Yes.
We do have another audience question. Cedric again. He asked, this is a great question. What size facility do you suggest to begin with a call management center? How many units, NRSF, or someone with a 9 to 5 type job?
It's a great question. James, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can take that one. So really good question. One of the beauties of a call management service is that the service has already obtained and has as an advantage economies of scale, right? So you will not pay very much if you have a small facility. And I mean, you won't pay as much anyways, regardless of how big your facility is. But let's say you did start with 30 units or 130 units. You're going to pay a really small amount because you're not going to get as many phone calls with that number of units, right? And so, you'll only be paying a little bit of money to have all of your calls handled for, like Jonathan said, more hours a day than you could find an employee to sit on site. And so no matter what size you have, your price will just kind of fluctuate with the size of your facility. So there is no too small to start with an answering center. I think does that answer your question, Cedric? I think that's kind of the bulk of your question.
I think that makes a lot of sense too, because like he was asking, if you have a 9 to 5 job, you may not even have access to your cell phone a lot of the time. And so just the peace of mind, I can imagine, of knowing that, hey, I'm working, but I know that this is being handled for me is worth a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. No, and I'm glad to see, Cedric, that did answer your question. That was a really good question. And it's nice because the call service has already handled we can take the phone calls for all those hours, and you don't have to pay more just because you have a smaller facility. No matter what size, it's a great opportunity.
Great. Well, if you guys are wrapped up, Cedric, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to release you for today, and I'll go over a few things that we have for upcoming events here at the SBOA. I'd like to thank all of you for taking your time out to share your great wealth of knowledge with our audience today. And audience, there is a replay available for everyone who registered. You'll get an email tomorrow with the link. And if you are a SBOA Enhanced member, you will be able to view this immediately on the website. So thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. And audience, if you'll stay on, I'll go over a few other things for housekeeping.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Get everyone here. Okay. So audience, a couple of things that I do want to go over to let you know that first of all, if you do have more questions, anything that didn't get answered today, feel free to email us here at the SBOA. You can send your questions to info@thesboa.com, and we will get back to you. We'll forward your questions to our experts, and we'll make sure you get those answers. And you will get links to everyone's information when you get that follow-up email tomorrow. Also, I want to let you know we will be back on May 23rd. That's a Thursday again at 11 a.m. for the next Self-Storage Unlocked. The topic that day will be beyond the rent, revenue sources that you might not have considered. So there's always little extras to add to your bottom line. Also want to let you know, once again, if you are not an SBOA enhanced member yet, we do have a special running for the month of May. You can get a free trial membership, which will enable you to watch these Self-Storage Unlocked webinars for free. So you don't have to go to Eventbrite and register and pay. You'll automatically be able to see them live on our website. And you'll see also the 2024, the entire archive. Those won't be released to the public until next year. So you get access to that. We have lots of other benefits. You'll get half off on our Storage for Rookies replay, which has over 20 hours of education, and you can watch it on demand. So you get half off that. You get invited to our national event parties, which we are becoming well known for. If you go to SSA show or the ISS show in Las Vegas in the spring, we just had a big, great party there at the Ice Bar. So there's lots of little perks, and half off is only $4.99 a month. So that's the cost of watching one webinar. Definitely get that signed up. And again, you will receive an email with the link for that tomorrow. All of the information is going to be in that email. So make sure you watch your inbox. If you don't see it, check your spam folder just to make sure that you get all the information that we want to make sure you are knowledgeable about. A couple of other events that are coming up this month that I want to mention. If you're in Florida, our president of the SBOA is also the president of the FSSA this year, Jessica Johnson, and she will be at the Florida Lunch and Learn on May 21st. She'll be speaking if you want to hear from her and meet her in person. Also, she will be in Michigan, my home state, at the end of the month, May 22nd. That's the SSAM, Self-Storage Association of Michigan show. It's their May Regional Knowledge Summit. I believe that is in Grand Rapids. So make sure that you stop by and see her if you're going to be in Michigan for that show. And I'm just going to end today with a couple of videos that you can take a look at. One, we're going to show the our mystery shopping. This is actually timely with our call center information. And we have a series of different mystery shopping. One is you can just sign up for phone mystery shopping. So if you want to see how your call center is doing, or your employees, if you still have them answering the phones in person, we will call them and see how they're doing. Dan does a great job, Dan Cosgrove and MSI. They call and they have a whole checklist of things to go over. You can customize that for your company to make sure that your calls are being answered in the way that you want to. And so take a look at this video. Let us know in the comments if you see that this customer service representative might have done a couple things wrong. Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you for calling self-storage. This is how may I help you?
Yeah, and do you guys have any storage available, places, spots available?
You said you're looking for a parking space?
No, I need some storage. I'm moving to town, and I need to put my house in there, or my apartment, I guess I should say.
Okay, absolutely. Are you looking for an air-conditioned unit or a non-climate?
I think non-climate. I don't think anything in there is probably that, sensitive.
All right, and so with that, our non-climate units with the drive-up access, we have the largest being 10 by 35s, and then down from that we have 10 by 30s, 10 by 20s, and 10 by 15.
Yeah, maybe a 10 by 15. I mean, it's actually a 10 by 20.
A 10 by 20? All right, and those are starting at $269 base.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.